Okay, Oscar fans, we have only 2 weeks to go before the actual envelopes are opened. What winners' names will be inside? Keith, we miss you here in LA. It's getting too goddamn cold here, though.
Yeah, I just wanted, I hear it's in the low 60s and it might get into the mid 50s. And I just wanted to send thoughts and prayers out to all the Filipinos out there.
It's a traumatic event for us. Anytime the temperature dips below 70, I know.
Everyone in Seattle, our heart goes out to you. And but
all right, Keith, it is no joke that you often are number one at our prediction games here, including Indie Spirits. You've won Oscar nominations many times. I haven't counted up, but you're very likely our champ. You start. Best Picture. Which movie and why?
Well, I think A.
Okay. I know the feeling. And that wasn't from the cold, right? That you just
no. Yeah, that was me slipping into torpor. No, no, I think it's Roma, and I think so. But it's such a tough call because I think as you and Pete Hammond so eloquently put it yesterday, it's going to be who's number two. Because I hear that there's passion for so many different films. People are very passionate about A Star Is Born. People are very passionate about Green Book. People are passionate about Roma. But people have also been bored stiff by Roma. Netflix put out that, hey, 85 million people watched Bird Box, and probably about as many people fell asleep during Roma. It's true. I mean, I love Roma. It was my number 3 film of the year. There are images in that film that will stick with me for the rest of my life. And I think it's, an incredible directorial editing. It's all amazing. However, I think when you have a general, like you have almost 8,000 people watching it, you're going to have a lot of people that don't find it as scintillating as maybe the critical community does.
So if not Roma, then Alicia, let's go to you. What Keith's pointing out here is the great mystery in the voting, of course, which is, are these movies winning this award in recent years because of the number 2 vote, the preferential ballot? In other words, you might not have the most number 1s, but if you've got the consensus in those 2s, you win.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I keep going back and forth with my predictions. Is it going to be Roma or is it going to be something like Green Book? I know Green Book is very well liked, so it's one that could get a lot of votes just because people like it. Roma, like you said, Keith, some people love it, some people not so much, so that could split votes. Also, is there the question of people thinking, well, we'll give Roma Best Foreign Film and Best Director, and then that's done, so we won't vote for it for Best Picture. That could be another thing as well. So I'm going to stay with Roma because Roma was my number 1 of last year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is Green Book or another film, but I think Green Book would be number 2.
I think there's also a bit of, as we all know, this is such a long award season, that there's a bit of, okay, you've been lauded enough. You don't have any more shelves, Alfonso. You're gonna have to build a whole new wing to your house for the award. And you're good. We'll give you this, or that. I do think it still gets Best Picture though.
Yeah, I think I do too. I think it gets the number because as you were saying right before we even signed on here, it's got the passion vote. That's often what carries the day.
Yeah.
But that said, now, Keith, let's stick with you. You don't have Alfonso Cuarón in your number 1 position for director. And I was with you on Spike Lee up until DGA. Then I wimped out and just switched over to Cuarón. What's your thinking here?
Well, of course, now you're talking about the entire Academy voting, right? And Spike's first time he's been nominated. Spike's output, he's made some of the, films that are in the Library of Congress, Do the Right Thing. He's made great films, and he's had a rough patch over maybe the last couple of years. And I think people also might go, you better strike while the iron's hot here. We need to actually make sure that this guy walks away with an Oscar, because it would be a crime if he didn't. We end up with much like Albert Finney, nominated for 5 Oscars. By the way, I'd like to take a moment for Albert Finney.
Okay, do that.
Yeah.
A mighty oak has fallen. So many great memories of that actor. And nominated 5 times, never won. And I think the Academy certainly has to be aware of that with Spike Lee. And I think that's why he might get it.
Well, his name is on the ballot for screenplay, but it's up there with a couple other names. So why not the scenario where the voters says, "Oh, we'll take care of Spike over there." He was nominated once before for screenplay. You're right; he's never been nominated for directing, so it's special there.
And for the documentary, for I'm blanking on the name of it at the moment. 4 Black Girls in Alabama. I'm forgetting the name of it. But yes, he has been nominated before. But again, this is a fairly legendary individual in the community, and as a known force. So it would be. I think that's a compelling argument.
And Alicia, he's been working, hasn't it? Spike, I've seen him at events on both coasts.
Yeah.
He's on the ground, pumping hands, doing that politician's job, right?
He is, and he seems to be having a lot of fun doing it as well. It was really fun to see him at the DGA event, getting up and taking control of the mic and talking to everyone, and he seems to be enjoying his moment. It'd be nice if he got an award, as you said, so many nominations and yet to be awarded, apart from his honorary Oscar. But Alfonso Cuarón, I think, just has so much momentum behind him at this point that I think that he is going to walk away with the gold. I mean, winning the DGA was a big thing as well. I know, like you said, it's not as much crossover between the DGAs and the Academy as it is something like the SAGs and the Academy. But I think at this moment, people are really talking about Alfonso winning, and I can't imagine him not winning this award.
Okay, well, let's just jump free of categories for a second, Alicia, and stay with you. If there's a big jaw dropper on Oscar night, where does it happen?
Well, I think the one that I'm really curious about is the supporting actress category, because up until this point, Regina King had been winning a lot of awards, and I thought she was going to be a sure bet. But then to not even get nominated for a Screen Actors Guild Award, and then for Emily Blunt to win the Screen Actors Guild Award, it really throws that into some sort of confusion. And I think maybe you could have someone like Amy Adams, win that, come out of nowhere to win supporting actress. She is very well liked by the Academy and has 6 nominations. Who knows?
Keith, pipe in here. What do you think? Is that possible?
Well, I think this brings up a fairly, a live wire on the ground, which is the popularity of Vice. Because at one point I thought, oh, well, Christian Bale's, that's a lock. And I don't think that anymore. And I think, again, people that I've talked to, I've heard a lot of, it's a very divisive film. And it's loved and hated, and I think that actually is affecting the acting nomination or the acting chances as well. I'd love to see Amy Adams win, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah. The narrative for her as never having won didn't take off this year at all.
Yeah.
Glenn Close did. Wasn't that interesting?
Yeah. It's always funny when grabs.
Oh, I know. It's all about getting the narrative out there, and Glenn sees that overdue narrative early on, and Amy's home right now with her Glenn Close voodoo doll going, damn. But that said,
I think that's Lady Gaga.
Oh, Lady Gaga, you're saying that too, right? But we have to confess here, we're talking 2 days before BAFTA, so there may be some surprises out of there. They very often foretell those acting categories. So we may be changing our predictions. radically if all of a sudden there's the Rachel Weisz upset and it may not be an upset at BAFTA. Does anybody beat Glenn Close now for actress at the Oscars?
I don't think so. I think, like you said, the narrative is so strong behind her. 7 nominations. She's now also won the SAG, the Globe, the Critics' Choice Awards, which she, is tied with Lady Gaga for. But she has, so much goodwill behind her for putting in so many great performances over many, many decades. And The Wife is a wonderfully understated performance, but it's really powerful. And I think because of the fact that she's never won thus far, the Academy is going to love to give it to her.
And I think it's different than I love Julianne more, so I don't mean to be too dismissive, but still Alice is, that's a pretty morbid film. And The Wife is actually, quite entrancing, and it's Jonathan Pryce. It's intriguing. It's a good watch. I think they would feel it's time, and it wasn't a bad movie. So
Yeah.
even better than still.
And it's about a woman who is being cheated on winning an award. I mean, that's the
That's so true.
That is true.
That's very true. And a woman reclaiming her own voice and her own narrative, which of course is very timely now, even though they've been trying to make this movie for so long, it does feel of this moment.
And that's a great segue to supporting actors. In these supporting categories is where we often see the upsets, right? The Marcia Gay Hardens or the Jim Broadbent or whatever. This year, what if Roma does win Best Picture? That winner usually takes an acting award. Could we see a scenario, Keith, for Marina winning Best Supporting Actress?
I think that's just happy to be nominated.
Why?
Well, because I think it's Giolitia. It's her performance in that movie, and if you're talking about true supporting and astonishing supporting roles, Rachel Weisz or Emma Stone or Amy Adams, I think they're much more prominent and much more not necessarily nuanced, but they're certainly more in the acting sense. Those roles are. I mean, my gosh, you could have had Weisz or Stone in lead actress, and it would have made perfect sense. So I think that's Marina. It's good for you.
So your pick for supporting actress is Regina King, like the rest.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your argument for Regina?
That is a kind of this is what we decided this year. Award.
Okay. Yes. We ordained her. Yes. Okay. Even though Beale Street didn't get in for Best Picture and kind of across the board. Alicia, what's your prediction for supporting actress?
Well, I'm going to stick with Regina, even though that is, like I said, the category that I have the most confusion
I know.
about.
You just said she wasn't nominated at SAG or BAFTA, and you're going.
I know.
Why?
Well, because of the fact that she has won the Globe and many other awards, and like you said, Keith, it does feel like it's her time. Plus, I thought she did such a wonderful job in that movie, in If Beale Street Could Talk. She was really, really powerful. And that was interesting to see how the whole thing played out with The Favourite, because I remember seeing The Favourite at Telluride and thinking, well, Emma Stone's the lead, right? And then hearing the way that they were campaigning it, which of course it worked out to the way that they wanted, with Olivia Coleman in the lead and Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz in supporting. But unfortunately, I feel like they cancel each other out when it comes to the supporting actress win for them. So Amy Adams will be my number 2 pick, but I'm still going to stick with Regina.
I've also got to, and I really am, probably shouldn't even go down this road, but I'm not sure what the amount of time that Regina King, I mean, it's kind of a Beatrice Straight, network.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's a brief role,
it's
she's just not in it that long. Whereas, here's Viola Davis won Best Supporting Actress, and she was the only person left in that third act, basically.
Yeah.
It's, So and of course we're not talking about quantity, we're talking about quality, and obviously I think Regina King was amazing in it. It's and I think it's her year.
And she has that big money scene, which you often
Yes,
need.
the big money scene. Well, as Beatrice Straight did, in Red, where she's dressing down William Holt, and that's and you know that every cast-off first wife in Hollywood was like, "Yay, Beatrice, go!"
The last 2 times somebody has been nominated for an acting Oscar against a co-star, both times they won. Viola Davis beating Jessica Chastain in The Help. The Deal for the Fighter beating co-star Amy Adams. So we shouldn't automatically assume that they cancel out. But I think in this case they do, because the roles are very, as you mentioned, Rachel Weisz versus Emma Stone are kind of, there isn't one obvious, one of the, and you guys agree that if Olivia Coleman had gone supporting, poor thing, she'd probably be.
Oh yeah, I think so.
So,
She's so good in that role.
Which I think, I don't know if you want to make this leap or jump, but I think that's one of the reasons why I hope The Favorite wins best original screenplay, because here are these 3, indomitable, equally fierce, equally, smart women that are, we can't decide which one should be lead.
Yeah.
That's a pretty amazing screenplay and arc.
Yeah, and it's all about the words and the clever. If it doesn't win screenplay, that's really a criminal, of course. Alicia, let's stay with the idea of upsets happen in the supporting race. We've got the pundit consensus at Gold Derby has Mahershala Ali out front. Size up supporting actor for us, because let's say Richard Grant wins BAFTA, as we think he will. That could be a Mark Rylance situation. Like you have to take that seriously if all of a sudden he's winning over there BAFTA, and that tells us what might happen here at the Oscars. Yeah,
and Richard E. Grant, I mean, it was so fun in that role and brought so much light, happiness, and also the darkness as well. And he's someone that I can't believe has never been nominated before, because I've grown up watching Richard E. Grant. I remember him in, With Nail and I, and so many roles. Spice World, should have been nominated for Spice World.
I love that.
I love Spice World. But yeah, I'm so happy that he's finally been nominated. It'll be interesting to see what happens at BAFTA, because it would be nice if he ended up winning.
What's your prediction?
Yeah, I think it could be him, because again, he's been around for a long time. He's had such a great career and he's very well liked. And the joy of this award season has been watching him have fun at all the events. At the Oscar lunch the other day, he was taking selfies with everyone, and that's just so great. So I like that he's enjoying it. So if he doesn't win, at least he's had a good time. But I think he's the one that I'm looking out for as a number 2. I still think Mahershala Ali will get it, but Richard E. Grant is right there behind him, in my opinion.
Yeah. So Keith, if one of the major complaints against Green Book is the historic accuracy of Mahershala's role, in other words, that's one of the things they're grumbling about with the movie, why is he bulletproof? And then in the case of Rami Malek, why is he presumed to be the front runner now? Obviously, he won SAG and the Globe, but why are these actors immune from the criticisms of their movies?
Well, I think that there is a lot of love for both films. An earnest and real appreciation for those movies, and they've got to have an outlet somewhere for them. And Mahershala Ali's fantastic in it. It's he has to play really such a layered character who's not revealing very much initially, and really is kind of a catalyst for everything that happens in the film, and his bravery. And people want to recognize that, I think. And if it's not Mahershala Ali, I think it's either going to be Posh or Sporty Spice.
I love that. Go on that limb, Keith. It's the reason we love you so much.
I have to say, to echo first of all Alicia's point on Richard E. Grant. Here's at the Critics' Choice Awards. He loses, and what's he do to Mahershala Ali? And he's the first one on his feet applauding. Now, one could say that's just staginess. But as far as I've known in my correspondences with him, it's not. He's just a genuine guy, and I love that Withnail and I is getting a second life, and
That's a cult classic. Yeah.
although I'm not sure it's going to result great actions on people's part if they try to emulate him.
Yeah.
So, any kind of big upsets in other categories do you guys foresee?
Well, I mean, I was just so
We have to
surprised.
make a pack, you and me, because we have to take Keith down. This is
Oh,
your
yeah.
first time at Gold
That's
Derby.
right. I
And so
forget about
you've not been crushed by this guy. It's not fair.
He's got an act.
We're prepared up here in the north.
Oh, God.
Ow!
Well, I don't know if The Favourite will win Best Original Screenplay. I wish that it would. I also wish for First Reformed because I love that movie. I thought it was really well written. But I think Green Book might take that one. So I don't know if that's a contentious category, Keith, or what you think about that.
I think Nick Vigalondo might have aced himself out of that one.
Do people care though that much? It didn't seem to
I
make
even
as
know.
much of a splash as the other ones did. I mean, we
Yeah.
definitely care, but I mean, in terms of the wider academy, do people take notice of those kind of things?
That's my point. Is I think people do care in that particular vein, and I think The Favorite's so damn. This sounds like it's a diminution, but it's so clever. It's so quotable.
Yeah.
So lush. I hope that it would. I think the one that's the surprise that now is or would have been a surprise the last time we talked is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It wasn't, that wasn't even in the conversation because people really hadn't seen it yet. It was The Incredibles 2. Pixar. They win. Check. And they're not going to win.
I know. They took the Annie Award, even the Golden Globe for animated feature, right?
Yeah.
A final thought here, Alicia. What's your whole take of this Oscar season?
Well, I think it feels. Oh, Keith.
He's giving us another. This is why another reason we love Keith. He understands that entertainment journalism should be entertaining. Go for us here.
Or that he's doing a bit of product placement. He's going to get paid from his bosses. My takeaway from this whole award season is that it's been a really fascinating one because we've had both these little films like Roma be alongside these big films like Black Panther. And I like the fact that they're getting equal placement within Best Picture because it shows a true range for Oscar. So for so long, it's been the Oscar films in one corner, the blockbusters in another corner. And at least we're starting to get some crossover. I don't think Black Panther will win much apart from a couple of technical awards. I don't think it's got a chance to win Best Picture, even though it did win the PGA. But I like the fact that we have a bit more sprinkling in there. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is another example of that. The documentary category has been all over the place. The foreign film category was surprised me quite a bit in terms of the nominations. But if Roma could win Best Picture and Best Foreign Film and make history for that, I would be very, very happy.
I'd be happy if Roma won Best Picture and then Cold War won Best Foreign Film. Because then I'd be right on Gold Derby.
Yes, and then we'd have the streaming services, Amazon and Netflix, just sorting out the spoils of Oscars. Very nice.
I do want to say something that Alicia brought. I was so thrilled about Black Panther being a nominee because I think it also deflates that. Hey, let's do a popular category. That's a 1.3. I think Ryan Coogler. I mean, it was a great year for directors, so I don't know who drops out. But here's a $1.3 billion, 10 nominations, directed by nobody, I guess. He wasn't on the short list for best director. And Fruitvale, he's done great work. I would have loved to have seen that, and it makes me happy because it's also bringing, you know, a lot of people saw Black Panther, and so a lot of people might watch because it might win, and then maybe they see Green Book, or maybe they see Roma finally, or maybe they see The Favorite. It's really what the Oscars were meant to do. They were, you know, I mean, they were originally a marketing tool. They still are in many ways, but they mean something because it's an actual, you know, it's actually the people making the thing. They're appreciating their fellows.
I like that, Keith. That's a real positive way to look at the voting pattern recently too, where the Oscars have been favoring these little art house indie movies that need the love and need the attention. Place in the history books. That's great. My final thought is, all of you detractors of Bohemian Rhapsody and Green Book out there, they're both great movies. I don't care about the controversies. I love them, and I'm behind every single Oscar that they win. Now that said, let's get Keith indoors so he gets a little warm.
Yeah, you make me cold, Keith.
I think my hands are frozen. So,
Alicia, and then just a bookmark, you know, Keith's predictions at Gold Derby, and just every time he changes, steal it. Just steal it.
Yeah, I will.
This way, you'll tie him if you steal every one of the predictions.
Yeah, I think I'm coming for you, Keith, just by copying you.
I've had a bad last 2 years, so I'm vulnerable.
That's all right. You had a great 7 years or whatever it was before that.
Vulnerable and
We'll
cold.
see how you do this year. Thank you, everybody. Don't listen to what we have to say. Make your predictions at Gold Derby and prove us wrong.
Bye, Tom. Bye, Alicia.
Bye, guys. Get warm, Keith.
See you later.